Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has had a rough end to the trading week. We started off really bullish, with the price actually touching $72,000 for the first time since early April. Since topping out here though, the flush downwards has been rapid and brutal. Bitcoin dropped 8% and touched 66,000 early Friday morning. Is this a sign for more bearish price action to come, or was it just a flush out before a massive move back upwards? Let's dive into the charts today to talk about all the recent price action as well as what it means, and take a look at the macro charts and Bitcoin dominance. Before we get into all that though, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel down below to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday and Saturday, and ring that notification button so you never miss an episode. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out the free Telegram channel over here to get daily Bitcoin updates as well as crypto and economic news. If you're interested in my VIP channel, you can check out more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trades with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so as per usual, let's start off by talking about what on earth has been happening with Bitcoin over the last couple of days. So I've pulled up a 4-hour chart here and you can pretty much see everything that I've been talking about. So the week started off super bullish. We broke above a key level of resistance here at $67,000, which is also the midline of our massive channel of consolidation. So breaking above the midline means that we move to the upper ranges of this channel of consolidation, and we actually touched the top level of resistance here at $72,000. So this is actually where we topped out, right? Upon this test of resistance, we lost momentum on the RSI, this massive uptrend on the momentum that was telling us we we're going to go upwards. We lost that, strength started decreasing, and we fell below our weekly uptrend here and continued in this really strong short time frame downtrend.
Before we get into any more analysis, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BitUnex. BitUnex is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account.
So the recent price action has obviously been super bearish. Okay, so we fell below a huge level of previously established support at $69,000, and despite bouncing on the recent support resistance flip at 67K, we still didn't manage to break out of the downtrend, and in fact formed our fourth validation point for this short time frame downtrend over here. Right, so this short time frame trajectory, while we remain within that downtrend, is going to be pretty bearish, right? We've continued to validate it and we are still rejecting from that base of resistance. So what that tells us is until we break above 69K and break above this downtrend, it is very likely that we'll continue going downwards, right? The trend is your friend until it ends. And if we take a look at the RSI as well, we can see just how strong the selling pressure, or the increase of selling pressure that we're getting on this downtrending resistance really is. So over here, after the bounce at $67,000, the surge of strength that we had actually broke us out of the RSI downtrend that we had, the corresponding loss in momentum over here. But despite that increase in strength and that surge in buying pressure, it still wasn't enough to push us past this base of resistance. So on the short time frame, things aren't looking all that great, but we still have a glimmer of hope on the horizon. So while we continue to build up strength and momentum here and maintain this RSI uptrend over here from that $67,000 bounce, at some point it will have to be enough to push us above $68,000. So while it isn't just yet, it also tells us that while we increase in strength, it's unlikely that we fall below 67,000. And as the price compresses in this downtrend, at some point we will get that break. It's just a matter of when. If we zoom out onto the higher time frame, for example, just a 4-hour time frame, so we can zoom out a little bit more, what we might end up seeing if we get enough of that continued build up in strength is a flip back above this higher time frame momentum uptrend over here. We can see we've had a attempt to retest the trend line and a rejection, but again, if we continue that strength build up, eventually we will flip back above that uptrend, right? That higher time frame momentum trajectory and buying pressure, and that will push us above $69,000. It will flip it from a point of resistance to a point of support. Now let's say that that doesn't happen, because that is obviously the more bullish out of the bearish case scenarios that we have available to us. We have gaining strength against a downtrend, we should be bouncing on support. But if we don't, if we end up losing this momentum uptrend over here on the very short time frame, what we'll end up doing within this downtrend is forming a new lower low, right? By confirming that downtrend, we lose our basis of support and we continue lower. And in that circumstance, that new lower low will be our next level of support at $65,000, right? So in that circumstance, are we in a macro bearish scenario? Still no, right? Because $65,000 is the base of our macro resistance range here on the weekly chart. It is the weekly candle close for our prior all-time high, and 69 is the top of that range, being the wick close, right? So the wick for that all-time high. So while we're within that range, this 65,000 base of support, or 65.5 base of support, will be holding really, really strong, right? It's only until after we lose 65.5 that the charts actually end up looking really, really bearish. And if we take a look at the trend, guys, if we take a look at the trajectory of the price ever since touching $57,000, even if we go down to 65.5, all we'd be doing is creating a third validation point for our high time frame uptrend over here. And in that circumstance, what the charts are telling us is that despite this loss of uptrend over here, despite the decrease in momentum, despite the massive increases of selling pressure that we've had at $72,000, it was still not enough to push us past our high time frame uptrend. So yes, the short time frame is looking really bearish. We either bounce on $67,000 and go up, or we go all the way down to 65.5. But until we lose this high time frame uptrend over here, the charts are still in a macro bullish trajectory. Everything is still positive. And what this would essentially mean is that this move below to 65,000 and this deviation below the RSI trend line here is just a deviation. And at some point, we will recover the strength to move back above while we remain in this price action uptrend. And obviously, I know the price action is so frustrating. Like, we tested $72,000 for the first time in over a month, and we tested it with the most strength that we have had since the end of February, right? We were in an uptrend on the RSI for the first time in ages, and yet we still rejected from $72,000, and we're right back where we started at that breakout of 67. So I know, I get it, it's frustrating, but if you're still in doubt that the charts are looking bullish, the next thing you really need to see is BLX, right? Every single cycle, these two indicators, the Gaussian channel and the market cipher A, interact with each other the exact same way at the start of every single bull market, or the parabolic season of the bull market for Bitcoin, right? And what I'm talking about specifically is when the price action is above the Gaussian channel, it signals the end of that particular trend trajectory, right? So we're entering a macro uptrend. It's confirmation of the macro uptrend above this, the standard deviation represented by the Gaussian channel. And we are above the 50-week moving average. And when the 50-week moving average goes above the Gaussian channel, it typically indicates the start of a very bullish season for Bitcoin. We can see it happening every single cycle. If I just draw in a dotted line over here, when that happened, we broke above the all-time high. We created the new one around $69,000. And if we take a look at what's happening this cycle over here, we've just had the moving average, the 50-week moving average on the market cipher A, break above the Gaussian channel with the price action above the Gaussian channel. And what are we doing? We are testing the all-time high. So really, guys, it is just a matter of time. And while the price action is really frustrating, we are still in a macro uptrend, and it is not the time to be panicking. The only time to be panicking is when we fall below 65,000, because when we do that, that is when the real bullish case scenario really begins, because then we have fallen below this weekly chart range of resistance over here, despite a really bullish last 2 weeks. And it is very likely in that circumstance that we go below to test that next macro base of support at 60K. And that would be genuinely bearish, sorry. Anyway, so that is everything I have to say about the current price action of Bitcoin and what it means. And before we wrap up this video, I do really quickly want to go over to Bitcoin dominance and talk about altcoins and how they are going. So Bitcoin dominance, for those of you who don't know, just in my last video, was very close to just falling below this 1.7-year long uptrend over here. And for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin dominance and its relationship to altcoins in the market is essentially that when Bitcoin dominance is low, it means that altcoins are rallying up against Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that the overall confidence in cryptocurrency and the crypto markets as a whole is very high, right? Because if crypto confidence in the cryptocurrency market is low, people aren't going to be buying, low cap meme coins or anything like that. It'll just be into Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if we're starting to see these smaller cap coins and altcoins rally harder than Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is a very good sign for the overall markets. So in that last video, we were just starting to drop below. And if we actually take a look at the daily charts, 2 days ago, we ended up falling below this massive uptrend over here. And it is really good to see that despite the recent price action from Bitcoin, despite an 8% drop from $72,000, right, an absolute bleed for Bitcoin, that Bitcoin dominance has actually stayed below this uptrend. That is an amazing sign, guys, because if we take a look at what historically has happened when it comes to Bitcoin, when it, decides to drop, what ends up happening is Bitcoin dominance will end up massively rallying, because despite Bitcoin dropping 8%, altcoins will drop like, I don't know, 15% maybe, let's just as an example. And because of that, we have a massive surge in Bitcoin dominance. But what we've seen in the last day or 2 days of price action is despite the drop in Bitcoin, altcoins have actually, for the most part, held their levels, or they've dropped maybe 1 or 2%, maybe 5% if it was an unlucky altcoin. But overall, altcoins have done very, very well. Even small coins like, I think it's like Peep and Solana had a rally despite the fact that Bitcoin was dropping. So we're really starting to see signs that the altcoin season is coming and that the bull market, or the really parabolic phase of the bull market, is really on its way. We can also take a look at total cryptocurrency total altcoin market cap. So TOTAL3, and we can see that despite the last couple of days of bearish price, or the last day of bearish price action, total cryptocurrency market cap really hasn't dropped all that much. Total altcoin market cap is still in that uptrend and is still way above the bull market threshold of $640 billion, right? When we drop below this threshold, it means a lot of altcoins lose their high time frame support levels and are very likely to go to new lows. But we haven't seen that despite the recent price action. Bitcoin dominance is still very, very, low. It's in a negative trajectory for the first time in a while. And overall Bitcoin is looking pretty okay. Alrighty guys, that is it for the analysis for today. If you enjoyed it or you learned something, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel down below. And if you're after even more content, be sure to check out the free Telegram channel for daily Bitcoin updates as well as crypto and economic news. If you're interested in my VIP channel, get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trades with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. If you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards and 15% off all of your trading fees. Hope you guys have a really great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.